Hi, I'm Brittany. I'm a licensed elementary school teacher, but I'm staying home right now with my two kiddos. And today we are going to talk about how to plan your kindergartners and your preschoolers' science curriculum. Okay, so I've been asked, and I've seen this asked a number of times on homeschool groups. How do you plan it? What science curriculum do you use for kindergarten? Okay, you can use science curriculums if you want, but I really am not an advocate of spending lots of money, especially if you don't have a ton, on a science curriculum for littles. And the reason is this: curriculums for science, they can be helpful, and again, if you want to spend that money, that's fine. But when kids are little, science should be about learning how the world works and exploring and having fun. And it's really hard to do that. I shouldn't say it's really hard to do that. It's really easy to do that, honestly, without a curriculum. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on. My phone keeps falling off. Let me see if I can get this better. There we go. Better angle. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan my daughter, who's in kindergarten, my daughter's science curriculum right here and now. Now and I apologize for the lateness of this. I've been slow on the videos because I have been doing stuff for my other business, which is writing books. And when you are homeschooling and writing books and you stay at home with your kids all day, there's a lot to get done. Okay. But basically, again, the whole idea behind science for littles is they should be learning to explore the world and to ask questions and to seek answers to those questions. And you can really do so much of that without a curriculum. You can do it if you have a library card, for one. That's your best method of teaching littles is a library card and wandering around outside. There are a gazillion science toys and kits you can buy. I do have a few toys that I do recommend, like we're studying light and color, and I bought a prism for them. This was not an expensive prism. We were at a science museum and I bought it, and they love it. We've had this prism out every day this week, and they have played with it over and over again. But again, it's about the play, it's about the fun. And sure, you can always buy science kits. That's never going to be bad for them. My daughter has had some, but you don't really need to, especially if you're strapped for money. So I'm going to give, like I said, the main thing that I like to do when I'm planning science or when I'm figuring out what unit we're going to do next is I like to, sorry, my hair's bothering me. I like to sit down and say, what would we like to explore this year? Now, like I said, I'm going to go back. Okay, so again, if you haven't seen it yet, this is my planner. I actually designed this. Homeschooling for a Life Planner, and basically I made this to be as flexible as you could possibly need, at least for me. I don't like being trapped in feeling like I have all this stuff I don't need or needing stuff that I don't have space for. So I basically tried to make this as flexible as possible for any grade K through 12 or even preschool through 12 if you feel you need it for preschool. Okay, so we've been through before the science and the ELA, or the math and the ELA, so we're going to fill out the science page today. And the reason I have all these bullets is because you might spend longer on a unit than you thought you would. You might spend shorter. Basically, I just like to make a list of the things we're going to explore this year. And the whole idea, again, is to give them a foundation of how the world actually works in nature, what's going on. We don't need them to memorize, theorems. We don't need them to memorize specific theories. We need them to understand basically that if you go outside and you do X, Y will happen. Or, you can always introduce them to stuff and know that they probably won't memorize the full thing, but they are going to remember pieces of it. And the more you do that, and you can often use these same units year after year after year. And the whole idea is when they do need to start memorizing, theories, or they do need to start memorizing, mathematical equations, they understand why. They understand what the theory represents in the world and why they need it. So, for example, when I took physics, in college, we discussed how there was a theory for figuring out how fast something was falling. My kindergartner does not need to know how fast things fall, but she does need to know that when I drop something on the earth, it's going to fall down because of gravity. Gravity pulls things towards the earth. It's what keeps us from floating off into space. So I'm going to come down and I'm just going to figure out units, and we won't get to all of these, I can almost guarantee you, but they're there. And we can always change them. Sometimes you know, we're on a little vacation or we're on a day trip or we're somewhere and I think, wow, that's a super cool thing. We should do that next. And, you know, we'll push off whatever was next in search of this cool thing that we found. So I'm just going to list as the first one, light and color. So we've been talking in our house about the color spectrum, the visible color spectrum, and how light is in wavelengths. So my daughter does not completely understand what that means. I don't completely understand what that means. I'm not a scientist, but you know, we've talked about how light comes in waves, and some are really, really fast and short, and some are slower and they meander. And there are 7 colors in the visible light spectrum for the rainbow, and that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And so what I did, I'll tell you what I did in a minute, but anyway, so that's the first one. So light and color. Let's see, I think they would like to study weather again this year. We did that last year, but again, they're little. They love weather. My son's obsessed with lightning, so we're gonna discuss that again. We'll probably do, let's see. Oh, that was the other thing. If you're gonna buy a book, I have one that I highly recommend, and it's an Usborne book. And yes, Usborne parties are dangerous because you go out and you buy all the books. But this one, I love this book, the Usborne Children's Encyclopedia. This is not Christian. This does have a worldview that's not Christian. So when we come to things like, you know, millions of years, my daughter and I have talked about, we don't believe it's millions of years. That's what the book says, but we believe that God made the earth and it didn't, we don't believe in macroevolution. But that aside, this is amazing because it has so many different topics, and each topic takes up just one spread. And on each page, almost every single page, there is a QR code, and usually that's to like a YouTube video like that has extra learning or a quiz, or, you know, a different, a web page that has a lot of cool information. And my kids love, I have this QR code reader that makes this funky sound. So to them, it's like dessert whenever we get to scan the QR code. But this Children's Encyclopedia has so many sections. It has our world, which has like earthquakes, weather, night and day, tides, waves, currents, seas, grasslands, getting warmer, useful. And again, we'll skip some of these if I don't agree with the, I'm not sure exactly what getting warmer is, but you know, if I don't agree with what that particular unit is on, we'll just skip it. In the rainforest, tides, icy world, mountains, volcanoes, you name it. Animals and planets, cells, living things, mammals, bird life, bodies and beaks, creepy crawlies, butterflies, sharks, reef, whales, dolphins, plant world, how plants grow, trees, leaves, fungi, all that stuff there, and way more. I'm just skipping around. How your body works, your body, bones and muscles, what happens to food, your brain and senses, babies, staying healthy, doctors and medicine. If you don't want to go over the baby section, you don't have to. History, so it even has like ancient Greece, ancient Rome, Vikings, Tudor England, the World War. We haven't done much of this yet because my kids are not of the age to understand a whole lot of really deep history. We have near and we have far. We say a long time ago and not so long ago. How people live, science, and this is the one we've been working on lately. We've been doing we've done atoms and molecules, solids, liquids, and gases. How materials change, energy, hot and cold, forces, gravity, friction, magnets, light and color, electricity, sound. So all of these fun things. And what I do is I pick my favorite ones, or the ones that I think we need to go over, and we will read from this, whatever spread this one has, and we'll watch the QR code. And I use YouTube pretty much every day. We'll oftentimes pull up Magic School Bus because they have a lot of episodes that involve these. They had some really cool light and color ones that we've been doing. And then what I do is I set them up, we do the basic reading, and then we watch a video on it. And if there's something in the real world that we can go out and explore, you know, we can try to do that. I do have a few other similar books. So if you don't get this one, there are other books out there like this. This is the Usborne Science Encyclopedia. This is a little higher level, but it has a lot of the same stuff in it. And so we will take turns. We'll go, you know, we'll read this one day, and then the next day we'll read something out of this, and then the next day we'll read something. I got this for $4 at a used book sale, the Concise Encyclopedia. And that's why I said having your library card is the best thing ever, because you can go to the library and you can be the rude person that checks out all the books on light and color. I actually have my order to pick up this afternoon. So you can pick up all of that. And you take turns reading, and you can spend a week on something, you can spend 3 weeks on something, until you guys start getting bored. Usually when everyone starts getting bored is when you've read it enough that everyone's like, yeah, I know what it already is going to say. But really, that's how science, it's not like we need to be cramming theories down. They don't need to be doing all these, worksheets on it. Science should be completely fun. Now, do my kids want to sit and read their science lesson every day? No, but usually when we start getting into it, they get interested. If kids aren't interested, sometimes that means it's too hard. So we need to skip that section and move on, or find a book that's a little at a lower level. But again, it's all about trial and error. And with Pinterest these days and YouTube, there are so many science experiments you can find for free that you can do at home that you don't need, again, a textbook to work with. Okay, so back to this, light and color, weather. We did body recently, the body. My son is obsessed with anatomy and physiology. He calls his skull his head bone, and we talk about his heart all the time beating. His blood pumps through his body, and he calls his fingers his phalanges and his knees his patellas, and it's cute. But anyways, so, even my 3-year-old, who has been doing this with us since he was like 1. Now, did he learn everything when he was 1? No. But he started just watching, and that's how kids learn, is they watch and they listen. And they're going to learn they're going to slowly start absorbing small amounts of information. And the older they get, the more that information is going to grow, so that they have a foundation upon which they can draw when they start doing the more specific things that they need in the older grades. Okay, so let me look through here. I'm going to go back to the Encyclopedia. Let's see. Oh, we're going to do autumn. That's going to be our next one. We've been having a lot of talks recently about how seasons are different from like actual dates or holidays. So we're going to do autumn, winter, and what we'll do is we're going to wait to do these. I'm writing them here, but we're going to wait to do these until we get to them, so that the kids can actually go outside and see what we're talking about. So we're going to do the 4 seasons. Let's see, I think we're going to do rocks and fossils. We're going to do, we did a natural disaster one not too long ago. What are we going to do? My kids have been really into mushrooms lately. We'll probably do a fungi. A fungi one. And with the fungi one, actually we might do a food chain. I'm going to change fungi. I'm going to do food chain, because that's a interesting one. So you've got the things on the bottom, they eat the dead stuff, and then it moves up from there. We just did body. Let's see. I might do one on farms. My friends own a farm out here, and it's a wonderful farm, and we love visiting that. We've also been reading the Little House series, and so that'll go really well with that. We'll probably do another one sometime down the road on solids, liquids, and gases. And again, you can do so many of these easily with stuff you find online. When I learned solids, liquids, and gases, my mom literally got out an ice cube, a cup of water, and a pot of boiling water, and she boiled the water, and she showed me steam is the gas, water is what's inside, and the ice cube is the solid. And I learned that, gosh, in like 3rd or 4th grade, and I remember it to this day. Let's see. I might do one with sound. I do one on computers. I don't know. We'll see with that. That might be a little advanced still, but I do one on plumbing, how that works. Really, I want them to get an idea of how the world around us works, and I want them to ask questions, and I want them to be curious. Let's see. I do one on trains. My kids both like trains. I might do one on planes, and that involves, and the amazing thing about science is when you pick one subject, all the others. You touch on so many other things. So like when we do planes, we're also going to work on lift and wind and that kind of stuff, and gravity. And so you're going to talk, and it's going to touch, and they're going to start to make these connections in the brain. And really those connections are so important. We don't want their understanding of the world to be in a box. We want it to look like a spider web where everything is touching everything else. Let's see, we're going to do one on rockets. I'm going to do one on, I guess we'll do it on space again because my kids like space. Some of these aren't even science. Let's see, we might do on dinosaurs. So I have a whole list of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to add robots to the computers because my kids are obsessed with robots. Okay, so I have over a dozen things already, and again, I expect to go through the year and find more things that we want to study, and eventually we're going to circle back to doing animals again. We'll circle back to doing bugs. We've done those somewhat recently, so I'm not going to have them do it. I'm not going to list them right now, but when the kids start asking questions again and they want to do more, we'll circle back and do them again. I have a pretty extensive library. I will show you. And this isn't even all of our books. We have a lot, and that's not all of them, and I have more. Books are kind of an obsession in our house. Some people go out to eat, some people go to the movies. We buy used books. My kids have books upstairs too, but the thing is you can get so much of this stuff at the library. The reason I have an extensive library is because my degree's in education, so I've collected things. My mom is a teacher. I'm a 5th generation teacher. So things have been handed down over the years. And we go to like used bookstores and buy things. We're running out of space. We honestly need another bookshelf. But you don't need a bookshelf this extensive. You don't need to buy all of these. Again, you can get them from the library. And just, if you want to check it out more than once, check it out more than once. You can get so much from books. And you can get so much from YouTube and Instagram and Pinterest and all sorts of fun things that you don't have to buy a curriculum, especially if you don't have the money for it. Hold on, sorry, just a second. Now, are there some fun things you can buy? Of course. I have hold on, just a second. So there are a few things that you can buy to help your kiddo with science that aren't, again, you could get these in a curriculum, I guess. I like them because the kids, they're really hands-on for the kids. You don't have to. I bought this last week. We went to a science museum, and it's just a little basic prism. You can buy them on Amazon. I'll put a link. My kids have loved this so much. They literally just sit by the window and look for rainbows for like 10, 15 minutes at a time. It's fantastic. And what I did, one more thing you can do is I have a science journal for my daughter. Now, this is not a scientific as far as, when you're in high school and you have to keep the date and you have to keep all the records. This is not like that. Science should not be stressful for small children. It's literally a 25-cent notebook that I picked up. And she draws scientific things in there. Now, we have a rule. This is not for drawing unicorns. This is for drawing actual things of science. But she drew a tornado, and she actually drew the eye of the tornado because we've talked about how the tornado has an eye in the center and everything in the eye is really calm. I thought she was doing a hurricane. She likes tornadoes better than hurricanes, but she even put the down arrows in there. I was pretty impressed with that. Let's see, drawn spider. She loves spiders. I hate spiders. Okay, so we did the rainbow. So this was the first time we pulled out the prism, and this, again, homeschooling, you can combine things. It's fantastic. So we combined English language arts with science that day. So she's practicing her writing. So she wrote rainbow. I spelled it for her, and she wrote the letters. So we did the colors in order, and we looked at the prism, and she drew a picture of what she saw. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. We couldn't fit violet at the bottom. But this is her science notebook, and it's just a way for her to help her internalize what she's learning. She loves to draw, so it gives her something fun to do. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple. Oh, and the other thing that, we love, I got this for 20 bucks, and they can be very expensive, but if you look for sale, they've got them all the time. And I only know because I researched them a ton before I bought it. This is one of those small microscopes, and we love this thing because we can look at so many things through it. The kids have started asking me if we can take things home and look at them under the microscope. So this is the Fusion USB digital microscope, and it's tiny. This is the microscope, and you turn it on and you use this thing, you push it back and forth to focus it. I will say there's a learning curve. I was really upset at first because I thought we got this dud of an item, and it's not a dud. It just took a long time of mom sitting there going and getting it, you know, as close to the thing and far away and trying to, and when you move it, it moves like opposite of on the screen, but you plug it into your computer, and it actually plugs into some phones too, like not Apple's, but it plugs into Androids. And you can take pictures. You go on the internet and you download the software, and you can take screenshots of what you're seeing, and it's so cool. So we go outside and we find like dead bees, and we take them inside and take pictures of them, and it's just awesome. So that was so cool. Now again, you don't have to buy this, but if you want it, I would recommend waiting till your kid's birthday or Christmas or something, and you know, or asking, you know, if relatives are like, hey, what does so and so want for their birthday? Kids will love that kind of stuff. They just will. And I think we got that for like $25. Again, you can pay through the nose for them, but if you get them on sale or you wait, you can get them for much cheaper. So anyways, that's how we do science. We do science with books, largely. We do science with walks and hikes. We do science with a notebook. Yes, we have a microscope. It's fun. The kids learn from it. We don't have to have it, but again, my daughter got it for Christmas. It was great. We have a prism, and again, you might find things that you want to buy. They have a lot of, like, there's a new TV series on Netflix called Emily's Science Lab, I think, and my kids love it. And they even tell you can go and they give you like the recipe for how to make like oobleck, which they have. It's this goo stuff that they talk about, the different properties of oobleck, and the kids do experiments on the TV, and they even give you recipes for how to make it. So there are so many ways to do science for cheap. Again, I will leave the a URL code for, or URL for this, because I absolutely love this book. And again, you can always buy Christian ones. The reason I like this is because there are so many options in it, and I use it for ideas. And then we take those ideas and we get library books, or I pull from my library, and we look for more. And it's super simple, and the kids love it. We honestly don't spend usually more than like 10 or 15 minutes on science a day, tops. And that's me just sitting with them, reading to them, and then we talk about it. And then, yet again, we can pull stuff in from the outside and look at it. The kids can play around if we happen to have, I am going to get magnets sometime, because I think those are really good for kids to play with. My son still eats things, so we're waiting a little bit till he gets a little bigger. But again, you can do it for so cheap, and I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. I would love to get to know you. I have a Facebook page and a Facebook group that you can join, where I post things. You can go to my website and sign up for my newsletter. That's BrittanyPearl.com. And on there, if you sign up for that, I give you downloadable links to printables that I have created that you can use for free. I will also put the link for my planner if you decide that's something you would like to have. I use it. I think it's helpful, but I created it for me. So, make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss any videos, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.